Overthinking, it's something we've all done. You lie in bed at night, your body tired, but your mind racing. You replay every word you said, every mistake you made, every possible thing that could go wrong tomorrow. And before you know it, hours have passed and your peace is gone. The truth is, overthinking doesn't solve problems. It creates them. It magnifies fear, feeds anxiety, and drains your energy. You start living more in your mind than in the real world. You begin to question yourself, doubt your worth, and lose trust in your own decisions. And slowly, without even noticing, you start living in a storm that you created in your own head. It's important to understand that the mind is powerful, but it's also noisy. When that noise takes over, it blinds you from the beauty of the present moment. That what ifs and maybes begin to control your life. You think you're protecting yourself by analyzing every detail, but in reality, you're robbing yourself of peace. You cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose to let go of thoughts that no longer serve you. You can choose calm over chaos. And it starts with awareness. The moment you catch yourself spiraling, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, this thought is not me. I can let it pass. Peace doesn't come from having a perfect life. It comes from having a quiet mind. It comes from accepting that some things are out of your hands, and that's okay. It comes from being gentle with yourself, forgiving your past, and trusting that the future will unfold as it's meant to. So the next time you catch yourself overthinking, remember this. Your mind is meant to be your tool, not your master. Don't let your thoughts control you. Guide them. Don't live in your head. Live in the moment. You deserve peace. You deserve stillness. You deserve a life where your mind is your friend, not your battlefield. And the moment you stop overthinking, you'll realize the peace you were searching for was always within you. Overthinking destroys inner peace. It sounds simple, but when you really think about it, this truth carries deep meaning. Overthinking is one of the most common mental habits that slowly, quietly, and painfully steals happiness from people's lives. It creeps in unnoticed and becomes so normal that we don't even realize how much of our mental energy it consumes. You might be sitting in a quiet room, your surroundings calm, but inside your head, a storm is raging, thoughts running in circles, questions with no answers, fears that grow bigger the more you feed them. That's what overthinking looks like. The human mind is a beautiful thing. It's capable of imagination, creativity, and problem solving. But that same mind can also turn against you when it's left unchecked. Overthinking is like being trapped in your own thoughts, replaying moments that have already happened or worrying about things that might never happen. You analyze conversations, wonder if you said the wrong thing, or regret something that's already in the past. Sometimes you even imagine future situations that haven't occurred, playing out endless possibilities. And almost all of them end in fear or self-doubt. The problem with overthinking is that it feels productive at first. You think that by thinking more you'll understand better, you'll be more prepared, or you'll prevent something bad from happening. But the truth is the opposite. Overthinking doesn't give you control. It gives you confusion. It doesn't provide clarity. It clouds your judgment. It doesn't give you peace. It builds inner chaos. The more you think, the less you live. When your mind keeps revisiting the same thought over and over again, it's like scratching a wound that's trying to heal. Instead of closing, it keeps reopening and the pain continues. That's what happens when you replay old mistakes, past conversations, or painful memories. Every time you revisit them, you relive the emotions, guilt, shame, sadness, regret. Your brain doesn't know that the event is over. It feels it again as if it's happening now. That's why overthinking drains your emotional energy. You get tired, not physically, but mentally. It also destroys your ability to be present. You could be surrounded by beauty, a sunset, laughter, music, but your mind is somewhere else. You're thinking about what you should have done differently or worrying about what might go wrong next week. You lose touch with reality because your focus is stuck in either the past or the future. Life passes by moment after moment while your mind is busy running its endless movie reel. Another painful part of overthinking is how it feeds anxiety. Every thought seems to give birth to a new, what if I fail? What if I lose this person? What if they don't like me? What if something bad happens? The more you entertain these thoughts, the more your brain starts to believe they're real possibilities. Your body reacts too. Your heart races, your chest tightens, your breathing becomes shallow. Your body lives in fear of a danger that doesn't even exist yet. That's how overthinking turns into anxiety. This constant state of mental alertness is exhausting. You can't relax because your brain won't stop scanning for problems that aren't even there. You feel restless, irritated, and emotionally drained. Even when you try to sleep, your mind keeps running, replaying the same thoughts, trying to solve problems that can't be solved in the middle of the night. You wake up tired because your body rested, but your mind never did. Overthinking also damages self-confidence.
Yeah.
When you analyze everything you do, you begin to doubt yourself. Did I make the right choice? Did I say the wrong thing? Was I good enough? Did they misunderstand me? You start to question your instincts and stop trusting your own decisions. Eventually, you might start seeking validation from others because you no longer believe in your own judgment. This dependence on external approval only deepens the cycle because now you overthink how people perceive you too. The sad part is that overthinking rarely changes outcomes. You can think about something 100 times and still end up with the same result. What it does change is your peace of mind. You lose sleep, happiness, focus, and joy, all because you gave too much power to your thoughts. Imagine if you spent that same mental energy on self-care, gratitude, or creativity. Imagine how peaceful your life would feel if you stopped trying to control every thought and just allowed things to unfold. Peace doesn't disappear because life is difficult. Peace disappears because the mind becomes noisy. When you overthink, you allow that noise to take control. Your inner voice becomes filled with fear, guilt, and overanalysis. You stop listening to your intuition and start listening to your insecurities. Overthinking turns small issues into big ones and simple choices into overwhelming decisions. It becomes impossible to find stillness when your mind keeps running like a machine that never shuts down. The real cost of overthinking is not only emotional, but also physical. Studies show that chronic overthinking can lead to stress, related health problems like headaches, muscle tension, digestive issues, and even weakened immunity. Your body mirrors the state of your mind. When your mind is restless, your body follows. That's why people who overthink often feel tired even when they haven't done much physically. The brain is constantly active, consuming energy and sending signals that keep the nervous system on high alert. But perhaps the most painful cost of overthinking is how it robs you of connection, both with others and with yourself. When you're lost in your thoughts, you're not truly listening to the people around you. You're not truly enjoying their presence. You're thinking about what to say next, how you might sound, or whether you're being judged. Relationships suffer because overthinking replaces authenticity with fear. Instead of being real, you become careful. Instead of expressing yourself, you hold back. And when it comes to yourself, overthinking creates distance between who you are and who you think you are. You begin to define yourself through your fears, your mistakes, and your imagined failures. You start believing your thoughts instead of observing them. You identify with your anxiety instead of your awareness. That's why overthinking is so destructive. It disconnects you from your true self. Breaking free from overthinking doesn't happen overnight. It takes awareness, patience, and practice. The first step is realizing when you're doing it. Notice when your thoughts start looping, when your mind replays the same story. Instead of getting lost in those thoughts, take a deep breath and remind yourself that thinking about a problem endlessly doesn't fix it. The goal is not to stop thinking altogether. That's impossible. The goal is to think constructively and then let go. You can also shift your focus from thinking to feeling. Instead of analyzing everything, try to feel what's happening in your body. Where is the tension? Where is the discomfort? This brings you back to the present moment. You can't overthink and be present at the same time. When you're truly aware of your breath, your surroundings, the sensations in your body, your thoughts naturally slow down. Another powerful way to overcome overthinking is self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when your mind starts racing. Don't judge yourself for it. Remind yourself that overthinking is just your brain's way of trying to protect you. It means you care. It means you want things to go well. But caring too about things you can't control only hurts. The moment you begin to forgive yourself for being human, your thoughts begin to soften. The more you practice letting go, the more peaceful your mind becomes. Over time, you'll learn that not every thought deserves your attention. Some thoughts are just passing clouds. Let them drift. You'll start to realize that peace doesn't come from solving every problem in your head. It comes from understanding that not every problem needs solving. In the end, the only thing overthinking truly achieves is stealing your present peace. Life is happening right now, not in your mind's endless analysis of it. Every time you overthink, you step away from the moment that's in front of you, the moment that could bring you joy, laughter, connection, or clarity. When you stop feeding overthinking, you reclaim your inner peace. You start sleeping better, smiling more, and trusting yourself again. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing progress. B. You realize that peace isn't found in having everything figured out. It's found in allowing yourself to just be. So remember this, the more you think, the less you live. Let your mind rest. Let life unfold. Trust that not every question needs an answer and not every fear needs your attention. When you silence the noise of overthinking, what remains is peace, pure calm, and always waiting within you. You can choose your response. This single truth has the power to transform your mental and emotional well-being. Life will never be completely under your control. Situations will arise that test your patience, shake your confidence, and trigger your fears. People will say things that hurt you. Plans will fall apart. Unexpected changes will happen. But no matter how uncertain or uncomfortable life becomes, one thing always remains in your hands: how you respond. It's easy to forget this when your emotions take over. When something goes wrong, your mind immediately reacts. Maybe you feel anger, sadness, or frustration. Maybe you start to worry or blame yourself. This reaction is natural. It's the brain's way of protecting you. But what you do after that initial reaction determines whether you stay trapped in stress or move toward peace. The key to emotional freedom lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering your own response to it. You cannot stop negative thoughts from appearing. They will come uninvited, sudden, sometimes loud. But you can decide how much attention you give them. Every time you choose not to feed a negative thought, you weaken its power. Every time you pause before reacting emotionally, you grow stronger. Your response creates your reality. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same situation and experience completely different emotions. One might see it as a disaster, the other as a challenge. One might complain, the other might adapt. What makes the difference is not the situation itself, it's the response. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control the story you tell yourself about it. Overthinkers often believe that if they analyze a situation enough, they'll be prepared for every outcome. But that's not how life works. The more you try to control everything mentally, the less control you actually have emotionally. When your mind is filled with fear and analysis, your response becomes automatic, reactive instead of intentional. You snap at people, shut down emotionally, or spiral into worry. Choosing your response means breaking that automatic cycle. It means creating a moment of pause between what happens and how you react. That pause is where peace lives. It's where you take a breath, observe what's happening inside you, and remind yourself that you have a choice. You can respond with anger or with calm, with resistance or with acceptance, with fear or with faith. Each choice builds the emotional world you live in. The more often you choose peace, the more natural peace becomes. But this doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. Choosing your response doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means allowing yourself to feel your emotions without letting them control your actions. You can feel hurt without becoming bitter. You can feel fear without running from it. You can acknowledge disappointment and still choose gratitude. This is emotional maturity. And it's one of the strongest foundations for mental wellness. When you practice awareness, you start to notice your patterns. You realize that your reactions are often shaped by your thoughts, not the actual situation. For example, if someone ignores your message, your first thought might be, they don't care about me. That thought creates sadness or anger. But another thought, maybe they're just busy, creates patience and understanding. The situation didn't change, only your response did. That's how powerful your perspective is. Your thoughts are like seeds, and your responses are the fruit they produce. Negative thoughts grow bitterness. Calm thoughts grow peace. You can't stop every thought from entering your mind, but you can choose which ones to nurture. The more you choose thoughts of patience, compassion, and acceptance, the more your mind becomes a peaceful place to live in. Choosing your response also means recognizing that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. When you observe your mind, instead of becoming lost in it, you reclaim control. You stop being the victim of your emotions and become the master of them. For example, when a thought says, I can't handle this, you can choose to respond with, I've handled many things before. I'll handle this too. That simple shift transforms anxiety into strength. This mindset takes practice, especially in moments of stress. Our instincts push us to react quickly, but peace grows in slowness. It grows when you take a deep breath before replying, when you count to 10 before reacting, when you pause before judging. Each small moment of awareness rewires your brain toward calmness. You start responding to life with intention instead of impulse. Over time, you'll notice something amazing. The world around you begins to feel different. Problems don't disappear, but they stop feeling like disasters. People's behavior affects you less because you no longer take everything personally. You begin to understand that most of what people say or do is a reflection of their own inner world, not yours. When you stop letting others' energy control your peace, you become truly free. Choosing your response also strengthens resilience. Life will throw challenges your way. Heartbreak, failure, uncertainty. But when you learn to meet those moments with calm acceptance, you grow emotionally stronger. You stop running from pain and start learning from it. You stop reacting to fear and start facing it with courage. Every mindful response you make builds emotional endurance. It's important to remember that you will not always respond perfectly. You will still get angry, anxious, or impatient sometimes. That's okay. Being mindful doesn't mean being emotionless. It means recognizing when you've reacted unconsciously and then choosing differently next time. Growth isn't about never falling. It's about becoming quicker to rise. One of the most powerful ways to practice this is through mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches you to live in awareness rather than reaction. When you're mindful, you notice thoughts and feelings without judgment. You create space between yourself and your emotions. That space is where wisdom lives. It's where you can ask yourself, is this thought true? Is this reaction helping me? What response aligns with my peace? Gratitude is another practice that supports calm responses. When you focus on what's good in your life, you naturally react less harshly to what's bad. Gratitude softens the mind. It helps you respond from love instead of fear. Even in moments of difficulty, a grateful heart can find peace. In the end, your peace doesn't depend on a perfect life. It depends on a peaceful mindset. The world outside may be chaotic, but if your inner world is calm, no storm can shake you for long. Choosing your response is like choosing your weather. You can't stop the rain, but you can choose to carry an umbrella, smile, and keep walking. So when life tests you, when your mind starts to race or your emotions begin to rise, pause. Take a slow, deep breath. Remind yourself that you always have a choice. You can respond from your fear or from your peace. You can react with resistance or acceptance. You can let life's chaos control you, or you can remain the calm within it. Every time you choose peace, you take your power back. You stop being controlled by what happens and start leading with awareness. This is true mental wellness, not the absence of stress, but the presence of self-control. You become the steady ground beneath your own feet, unshaken by life's unpredictability. You can't always control the events of your life, but you can always choose your response. And that choice, repeated again and again, is what builds a life filled with balance, clarity, and unshakable inner peace. True peace begins within. It's not found in the noise of success, the approval of others, or the comfort of perfect circumstances. It doesn't come from a flawless routine, a well-planned future, or a world without problems. True peace is something deeper, something that lives quietly inside you, waiting to be discovered the moment you stop searching for it in the wrong places. Most of us spend our lives chasing peace outside of ourselves. We believe that once we get that job, earn more money, find the right relationship, or reach a goal, we'll finally feel calm. For a while, those things do bring comfort. But soon, the restlessness returns, because peace built on external things is fragile. The moment life changes, it disappears. Real peace doesn't depend on what's happening around you. It depends on what's happening within you. When your mind is noisy, even the most beautiful moments feel incomplete. You could be sitting by the ocean watching the sunset, but if your thoughts are racing, you won't feel its beauty. You'll be lost in worries about yesterday or fears about tomorrow. On the other hand, when your mind is quiet, even ordinary moments, sipping tea, hearing birds sing, feeling the wind, become peaceful. That's because peace has nothing to do with where you are. It has everything to do with how you are. Inner peace begins with acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means understanding that life is imperfect, unpredictable, and sometimes painful. It means realizing that not everything will go your way and that this truth is okay. The moment you stop fighting reality and start flowing with it, a deep calm begins to rise from within. You begin to see that peace doesn't mean avoiding life's storms. It means learning to stay still inside them. One of the biggest obstacles to inner peace is the belief that something outside of you needs to change before you can be happy. We say to ourselves, I'll be at peace when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I buy my dream home. I'll feel calm when everything is perfect. But life will never be perfectly aligned with your expectations. There will always be something unfinished, uncertain, or beyond your control. If your peace depends on perfection, you'll never find it. The key is to cultivate peace even when life isn't how you want it to be. That begins by turning inward. When you stop chasing peace and start creating it within, everything changes. The world outside might still be noisy, but you start carrying silence inside you. People might still misunderstand you, but you stop feeling the need to explain yourself all the time. Challenges will still come, but they no longer destroy your calm because your calm no longer depends on them. You start realizing that peace is not something you find, it's something you become. Becoming peaceful doesn't mean living a life without emotions or challenges. It means responding with grace when emotions rise. It means forgiving yourself when you fall short. It means replacing self-judgment with self-compassion. The mind finds peace not through control, but through kindness. When you stop being harsh toward yourself, your inner world softens. You begin to breathe easier, love deeper, and think clearer. True peace also requires letting go of past pain, regrets, grudges, and the need to control everything. The more you hold on to what's gone or what might happen, the heavier your spirit becomes. Peace is lightness. It's the freedom that comes when you say, I release what I can't change. It's not weakness to let go, it's wisdom. It means you trust life enough to move forward without needing all the answers. Forgiveness is another bridge to peace. Many people carry years of resentment toward others or themselves. That bitterness sits quietly in the background, poisoning the present moment. But forgiveness cleanses the soul. When you forgive, you're not saying that what happened was right. You're saying that you no longer want to let it control you. You stop carrying the emotional weight that's been crushing your peace. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a door you open to allow peace back in. Inner peace also comes from being authentic, pretending to be someone you're not, constantly trying to please others, or seeking validation keeps your mind restless. You can't feel calm when you're always performing for approval. But when you show up as your true self, honest, imperfect, and real, your heart relaxes, you stop chasing acceptance and start living freely. You realize that the right people will love you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. Another truth about peace is that it lives in the present moment. The past exists only in memory and the future only in imagination, but your peace exists now. Every time your mind drifts into what was or what might be, you lose touch with what is. The present moment is the only place where peace can breathe. That's why mindfulness, the simple act of being here fully, is such a powerful practice. When you focus on your breath, your surroundings, your sensations, you return home to the now. In that space, your mind quiets and peace naturally emerges. You can train your mind to live in this state. It doesn't mean you never plan or reflect. It means you don't dwell. You think, decide, act, and then you let go. You trust that you've done your part and the rest will unfold as it's meant to. That trust is peace. Gratitude also plays a powerful role in inner calm. When you start focusing on what you already have, your mind stops obsessing over what's missing. Gratitude turns scarcity into abundance and fear into appreciation. The simple act of saying, thank you for your breath, your body, your loved ones, the little joys around you shifts your energy. You stop waiting for happiness and start living it. A grateful heart is a peaceful heart. Peace doesn't mean your life will be free of pain. It means that even when pain comes, it doesn't destroy you. It means that when you're sad, you allow yourself to feel it, knowing it will pass. When you're angry, you express it gently instead of holding it inside. When you're uncertain, you lean on faith rather than fear. This emotional balance is what creates mental wellness, the ability to remain centered no matter what life brings. It's important to remember that peace is not permanent. It's a practice. Some days you'll feel calm and grounded, and other days your thoughts will spin endlessly. That's okay. The goal is not to be peaceful all the time, but to return to peace more easily when you lose it. Each time you catch yourself drifting into worry or self-criticism and gently bring yourself back to the present, you strengthen your inner calm. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Meditation, journaling, nature walks, slow breathing, and moments of silence all help you reconnect with yourself. But above all, peace grows when you listen to your body, your emotions, your intuition. Your inner world always knows what you need. You just have to quiet the noise long enough to hear it. The beauty of inner peace is that once you find it, you start spreading it. Your calm energy begins to touch everyone around you. You respond to anger with patience, to chaos with clarity, and to fear with love. You become a source of comfort for others, not because you fix their problems, but because your presence radiates stability. Peaceful people make peaceful worlds. It always begins from within. So stop searching for peace in other people, in achievements, or in circumstances. Stop waiting for life to slow down before you choose calm. Peace is already inside you, beneath the thoughts, beneath the fears, beneath the noise. It's in your breath, in your stillness, in your heart's quiet wisdom. When you realize that you stop chasing and start living, you stop trying to control life and start trusting it. You stop surviving and start being. And that's when true peace, deep, steady, unshakable peace, finally finds its home in you.